Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about Azure Container Apps, which is one of the Azure containerization offering. We will talk about what it is, when to use it, when not to use it, and we'll finish with a small demo. So Azure Container Apps is a serverless offering from Microsoft. It belongs to a serverless family. It's not really serverless as I would define it, running functions, but it's close to it. Its most important characteristic is that it provides a simplified way to deploy and manage already containerized microservices or single containers. What is interesting is that it leverages open source projects like Dapper, Kida, and Envoy to achieve a lot of its functionality, and it hides the underlying Kubernetes infrastructure. So why do we need containers and why do we need this particular offering? So needing containers is kind of obvious nowadays. The universal packaging mechanism and distribution mechanism that Docker pioneered is something that we definitely benefit from. It runs everywhere, not only on my machine, right? So that's containerization. Microservices is one of the architectural styles of designing services. Typically, this means creating small, specialized services that communicate with each other either directly or through messaging queues. And right, so there is some limitations as far as serverless and serverless driven content. So at one end, serverless has its limit. It's really good at event driven architecture. It's really good at kind of more simpler functions. At the other end, Kubernetes requires pretty in-depth expertise and knowledge. So Azure Container Apps sit somewhere in the middle. It fills the gap between those two offerings. It still supports the complexity that comes with microservices, but it's not as hard as Kubernetes, and it's not as simplistic or it provides more knobs to tweak than Azure Functions. Just for reference, there are few other containerization solutions, and we can go through them real quick. So obviously, AKS, a managed offering of Kubernetes. This is good when we have requirements for it, meaning relatively complicated and big workloads. We can, of course, use Kubernetes to manage it. We have other things like Red Hat OpenShift, which integrates quite nicely with Azure. Kind of similar idea. It's Kubernetes, managed Kubernetes, not only by Azure, but also by OpenShift. Then we have container apps. We'll talk about them today. Functions, which we mentioned briefly. We can also have other little bit more exotic offerings like web app for containers, or there's even a way how you can run containerized workloads on Azure services. So what are the key features of Azure Container Apps? So first of all, I mentioned earlier, it uses some out-of-the-box tooling. In this case, for autoscaling, it uses Kida, Kubernetes event-driven autoscaler. And this is great because normally on Kubernetes, it requires a little bit of effort to set autoscaling on the cluster, whereas Kida comes pre-baked in the infrastructure underlying the Azure Container Apps. So autoscaling out of the box, versioning and deployment, this is something we will look at a little bit later in the demo. But think about quick A/B testing. So you have a new version of your container and you want to direct some of the traffic to your new version, and you want to maybe maintain the majority of the traffic on your old version. You want to react if something's happening, if something's wrong, you can always change the traffic pattern. So That's something what Envoy makes possible. This is intelligent routing and ingress. Again, it's all possible with Kubernetes, but requires much more fiddling and setting. Secrets and config management. Container Apps offers integrated secrets and config management within the service, which is very convenient. Obviously, we could do the same with Kubernetes, maybe install Vault or use other third-party secrets management, but this is baked in. Obviously, it supports multiple programming languages as far as deploying containers goes, but it also supports something which is called DAPR, which stands for Distributed Application Runtime. And this is essentially an abstraction that sits between the app and infrastructure. And then the app can use well-known communication patterns or other communication medium like HTTP or gRPC and communicate to an abstraction of a storage or an abstraction of a queue. Again, you can install DAPR on Kubernetes yourself, but it comes pre-built with Container Apps. So that's what we get when we use Container Apps. So it's kind of comes with a lot of pre-configured, pre-baked things, which is great on one hand if you want to, have a quick spin up your container real quick, but it becomes a little bit difficult if you need to configure more things. All right, so quick visualization. Apologies for the bad content here. I made a print screen from my other blog, but just show you those three main components that come baked in with Container Apps. So under the hood, it has those open source foundations, which I just talked about. Really nice way of thinking about bringing the best practices to a product and repackaging this in a nicer format. So when do we want to use? Microservices is a good example. However, if microservices architecture is too complicated or requires too much communication patterns, for example, that's a very fine line to decide whether we want Container Apps or Kubernetes or AKS. It fits in not purely event-driven workloads. If we have a purely event-driven workloads, then the Azure Functions or serverless makes more sense. We could also have various workloads that are just jobs that run to completion. That's also supported. There are, of course, other use cases, but it's a good rule of thumb to remember that this is in between functions and in between Kubernetes. I, for example, reach for this solution more often than for others if I deal with containerized applications. It really provides best of both worlds. So some practical examples of when we could apply them. Obviously, this polyglot microservices, where we have containers written in various languages and they can talk to each other using DAPR or other ways. Automated scaling. This is very simple in Azure Container Apps. We just set scaling rules and our containers will scale. Those A/B testing deployment strategies I mentioned earlier, traffic routing using Envoy, all this again is possible with Kubernetes, but here we have more user-friendly abstractions and kind of easier way of dealing with it. So in conclusion, we have a simplified microservices management, open source foundations, and some of the products and projects are built in. There's a strong case to be made for using Azure Container Apps with microservices architecture, and they also accelerate moving to microservices because you can just have one microservice package as a container. All right, let's go to a small demo. So what I want to show you now is what we have here in Azure. We should see a new resource group, RG App Container Test. And this resource group has 3 different components. So we have a container apps environment. Think of it as just an environment. It's a wrapping, grouping of all container apps. You can think of, I think of it as dev, staging, prod. We have logs, which integrates with Azure monitoring services, and finally container app. When we look at container app, it gives us an application URL or FQDN. We can click on it, and this should show us a simple Kubernetes demo. The reason why this is slow, because I've deployed it a while ago, and there's a cold start issue. So if you don't, if there are no requests to the web app for some time, well, the container will scale to 0, which is great from cost point of view, but can cause this this little hiccup on cold start. So what we can show now, I'll show you real quick how this is done here. So this script just really wraps some Azure commands. We could do this with Bicep or Terraform or Crossplane, but just for simplicity, I created a script. So the key components of the script is those two parts. So we create an environment, and then we create a container app. The container app comes with the image. This is my demo app, and that's about it. We just pull the FQDN, and we can navigate to the resource. As far as demo goes, super simple. However, we have another example where we can actually deploy another version of this app. This will be a green container, a green version of the app, and we can then do some A/B testing. So let's do this. We have another script called revisions. We're going to make sure that we deploy to the same resource group and to the same app. And while this runs, we can go back to Azure and see if our revisions start to pop up. So what's happening behind the scenes, I'm creating another revision, and we will split the traffic between this current revision, which you see produces this web app. And you can see the traffic is 100%. We have only one revision, or one version of our container. And when we go back, the script should ask us how many, we will have two revisions, how much of the traffic we want to direct to revision A, and how much of the traffic we want to direct to revision B, hence A/B testing. So it says for blue revision, we're going to actually enter 50%. And for green revision, we're also going to enter 50%. So 50% of the time, the traffic will show blue version of the app, and 50% of the time, the traffic will show green version of the app. So it's super simple how this is done. We are doing this through the script, but as you can see here, we could just go ahead and create a new revision also through UI. So let's see if we have this new revision there, and we have, of course, 50-50. Both of them are now active. So if we go back to our app and start refreshing the page, you can see that now it's going for V1, now it's going for V2. And, you know, on average, 50% of requests will go to V1, 50% of requests will go to V2. Which is great for testing and, you know, making sure that our new version is working correctly. So that's it for today. The link to GitHub repo with all the code will be available in the video description. I will also make sure to add a link to my blog that talks in a little bit more detail about this service. To sum things up, I definitely would advise looking into it. If you're coming from Google, this is something that GCP had for a long time. It's called Google Cloud Run. I feel that Azure did it really nicely, adding Dapper and Kira, but essentially it's the same style of offering. So containerize your workload, and then you can take advantage of this service. Other than that, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.